So what are the mu'allaqat? The mu'allaqat are some of the most beautiful Arabic poetry ever composed. And I'm going to tell you all about them. And I'm going to give you some beautiful examples from the mu'allaqat. So make sure you stick around.
ومن ينفق الساعات في جمع ماله مخافة فقر فالذي فعل الفقر
وإذا ظلمت فإن ظلمي باسل مر مذاقته كطعم العلقم
ألم تعلمي أني إذا الضيف نابني وعز القرى أقري السديف المسرهدة.
The mu'allaqat are a small collection of poems collected by the early Arabs which they believed represented the best of their poetry. Now there are different opinions as to why they are called the mu'allaqat. It is said that these poems were written in letters of gold and hung on the walls of the Kaaba, and hence the name mu'allaqat from the word allaqa, which means to hang. It is also said they are called mu'allaqat because they attach themselves to the heart, and hence they are called mu'allaqat because the word allaqa also carries the meaning to cling or to attach. There are many other theories behind the naming of the mu'allaqat, but what is agreed upon is that this is the most beautiful Arabic poetry ever composed. Now, classical Arabic poetry has a very unique style. The poet usually begins by mentioning a lover from his past, and then he mentions the physical ruins around him, which reminds him of his lost love, and then he expresses the pain he feels and the longing he feels for his lover. And this is a theme you find in most classical poetry. You might be surprised to find that even in the poetry they said in praise of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they began by mentioning a woman like this, because this is the style of classical Arabic poetry. So enough with the build-up. Now let's look at the mu'allaqat. Now Imru al Qais is known as the wandering king, al-Malik al-Dillil. Imru al Qais did not have an impeccable character, nor was he formidable on the battlefield, as we will find about some of the other poets. But what was special about Imru al Qais was the sheer genius of his poetry. He was the first of the poets of the mu'allaqat. And we talked about the styles of Arabic poetry. Imru al Qais was the pioneer behind many of these styles. He was the first to bring some of these styles, and the others followed him. And he is really famous for his pure poetic genius. And I want to show you an example. He describes a lonely and sad night, a depressing night. It is a simple concept, but he describes it in such an emotional and beautiful way. He says, وَلَيْلٍ كَمَوْجِ الْبَحْرِ أَرْخَى سُدُولَهُ عَلَيَّ بِأَنْوَاعِ الْهُمُومِ لِيَبْتَلِي. He says, a night like the waves of the ocean, which have let down its curtains around me to test my fortitude with a multitude of worries. Now he says, the night, first of all, has let down its curtains around me. So the darkness has covered him. It has let down its curtains all around him. And then he compares the worries that are striking him on this night to the waves of the ocean. Now, if you picture the waves striking the land, they come in succession relentlessly. So the waves of worries and troubles are striking him on this night without respite until the morning. The next poet we have is Tarah ibn al-abd. Now, Tarah was the youngest of the poets of the mu'allaqat. It is said that he was just 20 years old when he was killed for making hijab for attacking in his poetry the king Amr ibn al-Hind. But his young age did not diminish from his poetic genius nor from his wisdom. In his Mu'allaqah he says, أرى الدهر كنزا ناقصا كل ليلة وما تنقص الأيام والدهر ينفدي. I see that time is a treasure that diminishes every night. Time is a treasure that diminishes every night. Your time on this earth, it is a treasure that diminishes every night. And what the days and the passage of time takes away is truly lost. لعمرك إن الموت ما أقطع الفتى لك التول المرخى وثنياه باليد. By your life, death has not mistaken the young man. Death does not miss anyone. لك التول المرخى وثنياه باليد. The tiwal is the long and loose rope used to tie the animal, which will allow it to walk around and graze. So he says, death it is like a rope that is tied onto you, allowing you to walk around and live. وَثِنْيَاهُ بِالْيَدِ. But the ends of this rope are in the hands of death. So this is the situation of the man. So subhanAllah, that is a very deep and accurate description. And next we have Zuhair ibn Abi Sulma. Now Zuhair was a man who lived in troubling times. He lived in a time of war, and he grew old in this time, and he hated war, and he longed for peace. And when you read his poetry, you feel the pain and the desperation and the longing for this peace. So this is a man who's tired of life. So we can see this in his poetry. He says, for example, وَمَنْ يَجْعَلِ الْمَعْرُوفَ فِي غَيْرِ أَهْلِهِ يَكُنْ حَمْدُهُ ذَمًّا عَلَيْهِ وَيَنْدَمِ. And whoever does good to those undeserving of it, he will be repaid with insults and will regret it. If you do good to those who don't deserve it, your repayment will be insults, and you'll regret doing good to that person or those people. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَذُدْ عَنْ حَوْضِهِ بِصِلَاحِهِ يُهَدَّمْ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَظْلِمْ النَّاسَ يُظْلَمِ. He who does not defend his hawd or his water tank with his weapons will see it destroyed. And whoever does not wrong others, he will be wronged. If you do not attack others, they will attack you. And then he says, وَمَهْمَا تَكُنْ عَنْدَ امْرِئٍ مِّنْ خَلِيقَةٍ وَإِنْ خَالَهَا تَخْفَى عَلَى النَّاسِ تُعْلَمِ. Whatever character a man possesses, no matter how much he tries to hide it from people, it will come out. The true character will always show no matter what. So this is some of the poetry of Zuhair ibn Abi Sulma. Our next poet is Labid ibn Rabi'ah. Now Labid is a poet from Jahiliyyah who accepted Islam. I want to share just one bait from his beautiful poetry. He said, وَجَلَ السُّيُولُ عَنِ الطُّلُولِ كَأَنَّهَا زُبُرٌ تُجِدُّ مُتُونَهَا أَقْلَامُهَا. The floods, they have uncovered parts of the ruins as if the writing is renewed on a fading book. Now what does this mean? So there are ruins that are covered up by the sand in the passing of time. Now when a flood comes, parts of this ruin is uncovered. So he says this resembles an old book in which the writing has faded. So someone comes and renews this writing. The parts that have faded is renewed with new ink. Not all the parts, but some of the parts have been renewed. So he says this resembles the suyul, the floods coming and uncovering parts of the ruins. So the poet Farazdaq, who lived in the time of Islam, he was passing by a masjid, or he was in a masjid, and he heard someone recite this line from Labid, and he made sajda, he made prostration. So the people were shocked. They said, "What are you doing, O Farazdaq?" And he said, "Antum ta'lamuna sajdat al-Quran." You people know the places of prostration in the Quran. وَأَنَا أَعْلَمُ سَجْدَةَ الشَّعْرِ, and I know the places of prostration in the poetry, and this is one of them. Subhanallah. Next we have Antara, the Black Knight. Antara ibn Shaddad al-Absi. Now Antara was an impeccable man and an even greater warrior, and he wanted to marry his love Abla. But he was looked down upon by his own tribe because his mother was a slave. He was born to a slave woman. So everything he did in the battlefield and in life, in a way, was to prove his worth to his love Abla. Subhanallah. And this is reflected in his poetry. He is always trying to prove his worth to Abla. And these lines that he says to Abla, this is one of the noblest expressions of love you will find in classical Arabic poetry, or even in any poetry at all, in my opinion. Subhanallah. He says, وَلَقَدْ ذَكَرْتُكِ وَالرِّمَاهُ نَوَاهِلٌ مِّنِّي وَبِيدُ الْهِنْدِ تَقْطُرُ مِنْ دَمِي. I remembered you in the battlefield, in the middle of the battle. I remembered you, while the lances were drinking my blood, and the Indian swords, Bidul Hind, the Indian swords, were dripping with my blood. فَوَدَدْتُ تَقْبِيلَ السُّيُوفِ لِأَنَّهَا لَمَعَتْ كَبَارِكِ ثَغْرِكِ الْمُتَبَسِّمِ. And I wanted to kiss the swords that are striking me. I wanted to kiss them because they reminded me of the flash of the front teeth of your smile. Subhanallah. They remind me of your smile, of your front teeth when you smile. So I wanted to kiss those swords. And subhanAllah, I know the poets are liars. They claim what they do not do. But Antara actually backed up what he said. He was a formidable warrior in reality. The next two mu'allaqat, the last two of the 7, have a bit of a backstory behind them. Now, there was a war in Jahiliyyah that went on for 40 years. And this war was started because someone killed someone's camel. And this war lasted for 40 years. And this was between the tribes of Taghlib and Bakr. Now this war had just ended and they had a peace. And then what happened was that some riders from Banu Taghlib asked to drink water from a well that belonged to Banu Bakr. And they refused. And these people, they died of thirst because they could not find water. Now the war was going to start again because of this. But these people, they were tired of war and they decided to give peace a chance. So they decided to go to the king Amr ibn al-Hind to judge between them. So Amr ibn al-Hind, he took 70 people from Banu Bakr, who were the guilty party, as a guarantee. And then he asked both sides to bring forth their best speaker. And these two mu'allaqat were what was said in this court. So the first speaker, who represented Banu Taghlib, was Amr ibn Kulthum. And what he said was an incredibly eloquent qasida that is considered one of the most powerful things said in fakhr, or praise of a qabila. But the only problem was that he got carried away and he went too far. He praised them too much. He praised them even over the king, which was not acceptable in the situation, as we are going to see inshallah. So the first speaker was Amr ibn Kulthum, who represented Banu Taghlib. So in his poetry he says, أبا هند فلا تأجل علينا وأنذرنا نخبرك اليقين. Father of Hind, he addresses the king, Father of Hind, don't be hasty with us. Give us a breather. We will tell you the truth with certainty. We will inform you. بأننا نورد الرايات بيدا ونصدرهن حمرا قد روينا. We take the banners white into battle. When we go into the battle, the banners are white, and we bring them back crimson and wet with the blood. وأيام لنا غر طوال عسينا الملك فيها الندين. And we will tell you of the days long and glorious. We rebelled against the king and would not serve him. Subhanallah. And he's saying this in front of the king, which was definitely not a good idea. So in this way, he got carried away. Now the next speaker, who was going to represent Banu Bakr, was Harith ibn Hilliza. Now Harith was a leper, but he was old and wise. And what he said was very appropriate for the situation, and it was very smart. It is said that as he was a leper and he did not want his appearance to cause discomfort to the king, he asked to speak from behind a barrier. But his mu'allaqa was so beautiful that the king asked to remove the barrier, and he sat him beside him. Subhanallah. And in his mu'allaqa, he praises the king, and he admits the mistake committed by his tribesmen, and he argues it is not fair to punish all of them for the mistake of a few. And he says they are willing and ready for peace. And this is how he beautifully puts forth his argument, which you can see in this beautiful, meaningful bait. He says, أو سكتتم عنا فكنا كمن أغمض عينا في جفنها الأقذاء. If you cease blaming us, O Banu Taghlib, we will be as the one squeezing his eyes shut while there is some dust in the eyelids. This bite is very meaningful. What he's saying is, if you stop blaming us and transgressing against us, we are ready to let this go and close the eyes. Like the one who closes his eyes when there is dust in the eyes. When you close your eyes when there is dust, it is going to hurt your eyes. It is going to hurt us to close our eyes because of the dhulm that you've done to us previously, but we are still willing to close our eyes. Subhanallah, this is very beautiful. So these are the mu'allaqat, and I hope you found this enjoyable and educational. If you like this content, I want you to hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell, so that way every time I release a video, you're going to be the first to know. And I'm going to see you inshallah in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.